and Civet coffee each year. Mink Fur processing technology. The global demand for luxury goods has long been a driving force behind industries that specialize in producing high-end products, such as Mink Fur and Civet coffee. These products are valued not only for their rarity, but also for their unique quality and the labor-intensive processes that go into producing them. Mink Fur is prized for its soft texture and luxurious appeal, while Civet coffee is revered for its distinctive flavor, resulting from the unique process by which the coffee beans are harvested. This article explores the harvesting and processing of Mink Fur and Civet coffee, highlighting the advanced technologies and methodologies used in the respective industries. It also examines the environmental and ethical considerations surrounding these practices, as well as the growing interest in sustainable and ethical alternatives to these traditional practices. Mink Fur from harvest to high fashion. Mink Fur has been a staple of luxury fashion for centuries, primarily due to its soft texture and natural sheen. It is harvested from farmed minks, typically bred for the specific purpose of fur production. These animals are kept in controlled environments where their fur can be grown to the desired quality. The mink fur industry is an important part of the global fashion market, producing millions of tons of fur every year. 1. Mink fur farming. The basics. Mink farming begins with breeding healthy minks in specially designed enclosures. The animals are kept in cages to prevent injury and maintain fur equality. Over the years, mink farms have evolved to maximize efficiency and fur equality while minimizing the stress and discomfort of the animals. The two most common species of mink farmed for their fur are the American mink Neovisson bison and the European mink Mistela lutriala. American minks are more widely farmed due to their larger size and superior fur quality. The breeding process typically starts with a selection of high-quality male and female mix. The offspring are then raised with particular attention to diet, lighting conditions, and temperature to ensure optimal fur growth. 2. The harvesting process. The actual process of harvesting mink fur is done by skilled workers who carefully remove the pelts from the animals. This is typically done after the minks have been euthanized in accordance with local regulation to ensure humane treatment. The harvesting process must be done quickly and efficiently to minimize damage to the fur and prevent contamination by blood or other bodily fluids. Once the mink is harvested, the fur is removed and prepared for the next stages of processing. The fur is then sorted based on its quality, which is determined by factors such as texture, density, and the absence of defects like bald patches or scars. 3. Processing and dyeing. Once the pelts have been removed, they undergo a rigorous processing procedure to transform them into the luxurious full products consumers demand. This process includes tanning, dyeing, and finishing. Tanning. The raw mink pelts are initially tanned to preserve them and prevent decomposition. There are several tanning methods, including chemical and vegetable tanning, each with its pros and cons. Chemical tanning, for example, uses chromium salts, while vegetable tanning uses tannins derived from plants. Dyeing. The fur is then dyed to achieve the desired color. Mink pelts naturally come in a variety of colors, including shades of brown, black, white, and blue. However, dyeing is often required to meet the demands of the fashion industry. Advanced techniques are employed to ensure the dyeing process is uniform and that the fur retains its luxurious softness. Finishing. After dyeing the mink fur is finished, to enhance its luster and texture. This can include processes like shearing, which removes any excess under fur, or brushing, which smoothens and fluffs the fur. For technological advances in mink fur processing. The technology used in mink farming and processing has greatly advanced in recent years. Automation and artificial intelligence (AI) are being used to enhance efficiency in various stages of production. For example, robotic systems are being used to inspect pelts for defects and ensure consistent quality, while AI algorithms help optimize breeding programs to produce high-quality mix. Additionally, sustainable and cruelty-free practices are being incorporated into the industry. Some mink farms are now using advanced farming systems that reduce the environmental impact, improve animal welfare, and allow for the traceability of fur products from farm to fashion house. 5. Ethical and environmental considerations. The mink fur industry has long been a subject of controversy due to concerns about animal welfare and environmental sustainability. Animal rights organizations have criticized for farming practices, particularly in terms of the conditions in which the animals are kept in the methods of euthanasia. This has led to the rise of fur-free fashion movements and calls for stricter regulations. In response to these concerns, many fur producers have adopted more ethical and sustainable practices, such as improving the living conditions of the animals, transitioning to plant-based or synthetic alternatives, and engaging in responsible sourcing and certification processes. Civet coffee, also known as Kopi Luwak, is one of the most expensive and sought-after coffee varieties in the world. It is produced using a unique process in which coffee cherries are eaten by civet cats, digested and then excreted, with the beans being collected from their droppings. The fermentation process that occurs in the digestive tract of the civet imparts a distinctive flavor to the coffee beans, making them highly prized by coffee connoisseurs. 1. Harvesting civet coffee beans. The harvesting of civet coffee is a labor-intensive and time-consuming process. It begins with a collection of ripe coffee cherries, which are typically grown in the high-altitude regions of Southeast Asia, including parts of Indonesia, the Philippines and Vietnam. Once the cherries are consumed by the civet, they pass through the animal's digestive system, where the beans undergo a fermentation process. This fermentation alters the chemical composition of the beans, breaking down certain compounds that can contribute to bitterness, while enhancing the flavors of the beans. Once the beans are excreted, they are carefully collected by workers, who wash them thoroughly to remove any remaining impurities. 2. Processing and cleaning. After the beans are collected from the feces of the civet, they undergo a meticulous cleaning process to remove any residual waste or contaminants. The beans are then dried, either through sun drying or machine drying, to reduce their moisture content. This is a critical step in ensuring that the beans are properly preserved for roasting once dried. The beans are hulled to remove the outer layers of the coffee cherry, leaving behind the roasted coffee bean. The quality of the beans is carefully assessed at this stage to ensure that the highest quality beans make it to the roasting process. 3. Roasting and packaging. The final step in the production of civet coffee is the roasting process. Roasting is a critical stage that greatly influences the flavor profile of the coffee. Civet coffee beans are roasted at lower temperatures compared to regular coffee beans to preserve their unique flavor characteristics. The roasting process can vary depending on the desired flavor profile, with some producers opting for a light roast to emphasize the fruity and floral notes, while others may choose a darker roast for a richer, more intense flavor. Once roasted, the beans are carefully packaged and shipped to specialty coffee markets worldwide. Civet coffee is often sold at premium prices due to the labor-intensive process and the rarity of the product. It is marketed as a luxury commodity for discerning coffee enthusiasts. For technological innovations in civet coffee production. While traditional methods of civet coffee production are still widely used, there have been some technological advancements in recent years. For example, some producers have turned to controlled environments where the civets are kept in captivity and fed a diet of select coffee cherries. This helps to ensure a consistent and controlled fermentation process, which results in a more uniform flavor profile. Additionally, automation has been introduced in some stages of the cleaning and drying process to increase efficiency and minimize human labor. This reduces the risk of contamination and improves the overall quality of the final product. 5. Ethical issues in civet coffee production. Like mink fur, civet coffee has faced significant ethical concerns, particularly regarding the welfare of the civets. In many instances, civets have been captured from the wild and kept in poor conditions in order to meet the growing demand for this luxury product. This has led to widespread criticism from animal rights organizations, which argue that the practice is cruel and unsustainable. In response, some producers are now adopting more ethical practices by sourcing their civet coffee from free-range civets or establishing certification programs that ensure the welfare of the animals. These efforts are aimed at promoting more responsible production and reducing the negative environmental and social impacts of civet coffee farming. The harvesting and processing of mink fur and civet coffee are complex and labor-intensive processes that involve advanced technologies and skilled craftsmanship. While both industries have historically been associated with luxury and exclusivity, they also raise important ethical and environmental questions. As consumer preferences shift toward more sustainable and ethical products, both the mink fur and civet coffee industries are facing pressure to adopt practices that prioritize animal welfare and environmental stewardship. The future of these industries may lie in innovation, with advances in technology, such as automation and sustainable farming practices, offering new ways to balance tradition with modern ethical standards. As awareness of these issues grows, it is essential for consumers, producers, and regulators to engage in meaningful dialogue to ensure that these industries evolve in a way that respects both